Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be working with the pop-up bouquet dies. These dies are a set that mimics a finishing school craft box with the same name. It's a Floral Bouquet. And that one, it comes with all of these beautiful flowers and everything already done for you. But this is the die set, and you kind of have to put it together yourself to get the same effect. And all of this is sold separately than the finishing school craft box, but it does come with flowers in 3 different sizes, and it comes with the die that cuts out the center part that makes the pop-up, and it also cuts out the card base. Now, when I bought this, I thought it cut out the insert piece, but that is not the insert piece. That is the card base. You have to cut out the insert piece yourself. This is the piece of cardstock that I will be using. It is from the teacups, I believe. It is double-sided, and we will just be using this one piece of cardstock to do this. So you take your die and cut out the card base. You actually honestly don't need it because it's just a card base. And so you can use it if you like, or you can just cut it out yourself. And once you have that cut out, you will have your piece of paper. Now, if you use a double-sided cardstock, then you pretty much can use the other side to create the insert, which is what I will be doing. So this is going to be the outside of the card, and the light pink part is going to be the inside of the card. So this is the insert piece, and I will give you the measurements in a minute because I'm going to show you the what it says on the actual instruction sheet. So this is what the inside of my card is going to look like, and then I'm going to cut out the inside, which is the knees or the structure, to create the pop-up mechanism. So you need your scoreboard, and here's where we'll grab the instruction sheet here. So you'll see that the card base is cut, or the card layer is cut at 10.5 by 5, and then you line up this die at the 5.25 mark, and you make 2 marks. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and talk a little bit about how hard this was for me, because it's not hard to mark this, but I did this 3 times. I messed up 3 different cardstocks because it is very, very important that you look and pay attention to what side you want to be cutting out your structure, which side you want to be the side that pops up, that's going to be that's going to show, and what side is the bottom of the die. So I cut the die upside down, I cut the wrong side of the paper, I just kept messing it up, and so I'm just gonna advise you guys right now, this is very important to really pay attention. And the other thing is your pattern cardstock. Make sure the pattern of your cardstock is facing the right way also, because that was the 3rd reason why I messed up this card. My pattern was upside down, my die was upside down on a different one, and and then I also cut it on the wrong side of the paper. And so what you have to do is you draw your lines on the side that you don't want to cut out. So you can see me doing it wrong right here. And you draw your lines on the side that you don't want to cut out, or that you don't want to cut out, and then you put the die on the other side. So I did it backwards here, and I was trying to make sure that I put my die on the right way this time, but I still cut it out backwards. So you'll see here in a second where I turned it around, and then it's going to be on the other side of the paper instead of on that light pink side. So here it is. So now I turned it around and put it on the right part, and I'm gonna redo it. So really, I'm just like encouraging guys to really pay attention. You have to pay attention to so many different nuances with this that I didn't even really understand or pay attention to, but until I ruined 3 whole 12 by 12 pieces of cardstock trying to make this card for you guys. So I hope you really appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with a crafty friend. And this is like one of the few videos that I've seen, I haven't seen any, but that's why I'm making this, because I haven't seen any videos with the dice, just the die set. I did see one by V&A, and then that's been the only one, so I thought I'd do another one where I really kind of go through my challenges with this die set. I'm telling you, it almost made me want to send it back, and I'm still not sure if I'm going to keep it, just because it was like a lot of work. I'm telling you, there's a few things that are kind of just not perfect about this die set, and I'll go through those in just a little while we're cutting out certain things. But here you definitely want to use your bone folder to hold all of these things down, because this card, you put a lot of things inside, so as flat as you can make it in the beginning will help it to stay a little bit flatter and to close as you begin to embellish it with all of your flowers and things like that. Okay, so we finally have that done, and we're going to bring it in our card base, and we're going to glue it down. I'm going to be using this Call all-purpose glue. It is from Crafter's Companion. This glue does have a slight smell to it that you may not enjoy, kind of chemically, and so just keep that in mind if you decide to try this glue. The reason why I'm using it is because it's stretchy, actually. So it's very like stringy, stretchy. So when you're doing these like pop outs, a lot of times you can't open and close the card because the glue has created the paper and it's caused it to like stay really stiff. Well, this glue, it kind of is rubbery in a way, I guess, underneath there. So you can open and close your card and it doesn't create that stiffness, which is why I'm using it on this. All right, so now we're going to take a piece of gold cardstock and cut out our flowers. I'm going to cut out every size of the flowers. So there's a large flower, a medium-sized flower, and then 2 small flowers that are pretty much identical, except for they face different ways. And so you can pick one of the smaller flowers because there's only 3 places on the knee structure to place the flowers, so you don't have to cut out all 4. But you can if you like to. I cut them all out because I didn't know which one I was going to use. And so here's what they look like. As you can see, they have embossing on the leaves, so make sure that you're using something that can emboss. And if you run them back through with your embossing mat, make sure you tape them down, because I tried that and it moved on the die and it ruined all of them and I had to recut them out. I am telling you guys, I've done a lot of cutting with this. And then I'm going to take a little bit of that cardstock that I was using before, and I'm going to cut out these flowers a second time and just in their whole form. And I'm going to be offsetting the gold and the pattern cardstock on top of each other. So what I've seen is that you can cut out the tops of the flowers and then cut out the flowers again in a different color to cut out the leaves. I was not interested in doing all of that, and therefore I did not. I liked it just fine with the one color, and so I'm just going with it. So of course they won't look like realistic flowers, because those kind of flowers don't have pink leaves, but my flowers are going to have pink leaves on this day. Okay, so here we go, putting those all together. And I will also let you guys know that I am not going to be using the background dye for my flowers on today, because I cut these out so many times, and I really just liked the look of the open flowers where you could see through them. So if you decide that you want to do a little bit more cutting, you can cut out a background and all of that kind of stuff. I honestly wish that the background dye that she gave us was the same like shape as the flower heads, not that it didn't have that 1/4 of an inch extra on it, because I would maybe have just liked to cover the inside of the flower heads and maybe use my markers and color them in or something like that. But I just didn't want that big background piece on there, because I really wanted to, I like the open, airy, light, flowy look of these, and then just that little offset on them. And so as you can see from me, or hear from me talking, or even see, there's so many options that you can do with these flowers. You can, like I said, you can make them different tones. You can, do so much. But here we're going to cut out some extra leaves that she added to the set. And these leaves do not coincide with these dyes in any way. So do not even try to line them up. It is a futile task, I'm telling you. I would have loved to just have cut these out with the dye and then place them right over the top of my flowers as the leaves, but that is not an option, and it did not happen like that. So suggestion, anyone who's listening out there who works for Anna Griffin, we would have liked for those leaves to line up. Okay, so all the items that I will be using, I just placed down, and you can see there's some butterflies and a journaling tag and some corner pieces. And so those are some of the things that we'll be using on here. I think I also added some flourishes, so if you're gonna start cutting, then add some flourishes also. That came with the set. They're already part of the dye. And here I'm just putting down some tape, and this is just what I saw on the demo. And at first I was like concerned that if I just put down tape on everything and the flower heads didn't touch that part, would everything just stick together? Well, that was not the case. So you can be okay with just putting tape down on all of your structure. Okay, here I am going to be layering these leaves on the background of my flowers. So just figuring out where the flower is going to go, and then peeling off my double-sided adhesive. Yes, I'm using double-sided adhesive and not glue, because the glue would have dried too fast and it wouldn't have given me the movability that I would have been looking for in this project. And so here I am just adding, like figuring out where I want everything to go. And so these leaves are gonna just kind of just be on there, and then I'm just going to use my glue to place them down. And I do take off any part that you can see through the background of my flowers, like I said, because I kept them open. If you had put the background on there, then you will not have need of this step. But I think you'll see in this project how not putting on the background is actually really, really nice, because there's so much going on, and it just allows you to really, I don't know, it doesn't block it off as much. It doesn't create that I don't know what to call it, but where you just can't see through it. It just allows you to see everything. It just makes it a lot more dainty, I guess would be the word, a lot more dainty. I really like that. And so we're just going to keep on with that process, and then we're going to move on to the next step. It looks like I lost a little bit of the video where I put on that second flower, so I'm removing this one so you can see exactly where I placed it. Sorry about that. And now I'm putting in the third flower, and the most important thing is to make sure that everything fits within the structure of the card base. So make sure that you're opening and closing your card when you're putting your flowers on, to make sure that they are not going to be seen when the card is completely closed. I cut out these corner dies, and they did come from the China Cabinet craft box, I do believe. I cut out 4 of them. I'm just going to put them on the corners here of the card. They really draw the eye into the center of the card, so I really like that. And I like the openness of these dies also, because I have corner dies from the impression dies also, but they're more like embossed and not cut. So this really adds to that open airiness of the card instead of the closed off look that you could get from an embossed corner. So I really like that. And now I want to add some actual Anna Griffin flowers. Well, of course, they're all Anna Griffin flowers, but the color flowers into the project. Now, these flowers match the pattern on the cardstock. I think they're the exact same flowers, and that's why I grabbed them. And so I'm just going to add them interdispersed in between the other flowers that we have on there. And this one, I fussy cut it out so that it matched behind this flower, and that's an option, you don't have to do that, but I did do a little fussy cutting on that one. Just cut out that red flower and one of the leaves, and I think a blue flower possibly, to adhere that on there. I really just liked how it hung out on the top of the card, so that when you open it, it just gives it a little bit more of that blooming bouquet effect. And I'm just holding down my piece to make sure it's adhering to the card there. Then we're just gonna use I'm using the glue, the Barely Art Glue, craft glue, to put these down, and I'm just holding them in place, making sure they're adhering where I want them to. Now, I didn't show these flourishes in the items that I was cutting out, because I actually didn't know that I was going to be adding them. But when I finished putting on the flowers and everything, I just felt like there was still something that was needed on this card. So I put a flourish in the middle of the bouquet there, and then I'm just going to add some flourishes off to the side, just so that there's a little bit more movement going on in the card. And I saw a lot of the finished examples from off of on craft day that had like die cuts on the sides and just really beautiful things, but I just wanted a soft, subtle card, so I'm just going to be using these flourishes here. And I'm going to be cutting, I cut out 5, there'll be 5 of them on this card, so the one in the center, 2, and then 2 on each side. And so I'm just gonna grab 2 more of these flourishes. And also, this was the signature card that I will be using, and I'm gonna put the flourishes around the signature card. So just get those glued down, and I mostly just glue the bottom of the flourish so that the top of it can stay floating off of the card, to give it a little bit of shadowing and a little bit more fluidity. So we're just gonna do that to the bottom of the flourishes, which these flourishes are really, really nice. I really like them. As if I don't have a ton of flourishes from Anna Griffin, the ones she gives us, the ones in impressions, ones from cut and emboss folders. There's just so many ways you can add flourishes onto your card. And then I put the signature card on top. Now, one of the things with that is that when your person writes on it, there will be a little bit of a bumpiness underneath their writing. But, you know, we're just going for aesthetics right now. And I realize that that will happen, and I'm okay with it. And then we just want to finish it off with our cute little butterfly. He's so cute. And he's flying off into the distance, and that is the inside of our card. And I will be decorating the outside of the card now. So we're going to take this trellis die here. I cut it out in a soft pink. I am propping it up on foam, so there's foam pads underneath there just to give it some shadowing effect underneath. And then I'm going to add some more of those flourishes. So I cut out 2 more flourishes. I actually cut out so many flourishes. I just used up the whole paper that I was cutting on, just to make sure I didn't have any scraps, because I didn't feel like dealing with this, putting away the scraps into where they go. So I was like, I'll just cut them all up. And so 2 more flourishes on there. You saw how many leaves I cut out. I cut out so many leaves. I'll have leaves for the rest of my life. But 2 more leaves on there, and just, you know, everything's going just on that corner edge of the card here. And these are all just put on with glue. I did not put any foam pads on these. And then the flowers that are inside are now going on the outside, and you know that these are self-adhesive, so I'm just going to stick these down. And then I'm just going to check the placement to make sure that everything is where I want it. And these flowers, or these leaves, you weren't even able to see them underneath the flowers, so I'm moving them out of the way so that we can see them now. And they're visible, and we get credit for our work. I heard Anna Griffin say that we don't get any credit for that if you can't see it. So we get credit for our work here, and that's looking pretty good to me. All right, so this is almost the finished part of our card. We just need our sentiment, which I did grab from a Crafter's Companion craft box. I'm always getting something out of the Crafter's Companion craft box. So our sentiment says, wishing you happiness today and always. And that finishes off the front of our card. So our card is finished. I am wishing you guys happiness today and always. I thank you so much for watching these videos. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share them with a crafty friend. And I will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.